It is another beautiful weekend up in Minnesota. It's been so nice and so hot. The unfortunate part is we haven't had a lot of rain, so our grass and all of our little plants outside are dying, but it's a good time to sit in the garage and work on this thing, little Fiona here. So my last video I left off, I finished the driver's side floor pan rocker panel, filler panel. So welded that in. And during the week I was playing around and looking inside the cab, and I realized, I remembered I left a little bit left of the Explorer, which up here you can see this is where the brake pedal mounts to, but there's two bolt holes right there. And then this little flange used to mount to the rest of the firewall of the Explorer, but I don't have that. So I need to find a way to mount that to this that square tubing there. And then over here, kind of hard to see it, but there's that one right there. That's the third mount, and that also needs to get tied into that square tubing up top. The reason I'm keeping those is I really want to keep as much of the Explorer like AC unit as I can. So this, I think it's like a fiberglass composite kind of ductwork, is also what holds the steering column. Yeah, I'm missing one bolt there, but those bolts hold the steering column up and into position. And those mounts inside the cab I was showing you, there's those two bolts that go above the brake pedal assembly. And then over here, this guy, that's the one that's way over on the passenger side. So those are the only three mounts left that are on this duct that I have. There used to be like another one that was over here, but I had to cut that off to fit inside the F1 cab. Same thing over here. There's another mount that went down here. I had to cut that off to get it again fit in the cab. So I'm going to try to figure out how to get those mounts in the cab to mount to the firewall and, you know, support them a lot better. So when I put this thing in, this thing's actually not light, it's actually pretty heavy. It's, you know, it's fiberglass, and inside here, obviously with the steering column mounts, there's another metal like bracket to help hold it stable so it's not so, you know, flexible. So this thing's actually pretty heavy. And then I was playing with the AC units here. What I did is this is the one that sits inside under the dash. This is the air to go into the cab, and this section actually goes into here. It goes up into here and in through there, and then obviously to the sides. And then this was the defrost, so I got to figure out how to get that hooked up. But at the other end here, this is where the fresh air intake is, or if you wanted to recirculate, it would hit the little vacuum knob here, and it would open this thing up like that and suck air in from the cab. That part I cut off, so that'll fit under the dash, no problem. The other thing I talked about in the last video is this part where the blower motor housing is. That will not fit under the hood, so that has to get cut off from here over. And I got to figure out how to get fresh air in the blower motor and cut across here. I misspoke last time. I said this is where the heater core is actually, and this is actually where the AC condenser is in this housing. It goes across in here, and here, this is where the heater core is. It's inside the cab. So my apologies on that, misspoke on that one. So, but anyways, that's kind of what I was looking at this week. But I really want to get back to this floor pan and all these little patch panels. So today, finished that little hole there on the driver's side. That's all I got left here on the driver's side. And on the passenger side, I definitely got that big gap there. And then again, rocker panel to floor pan there. I gotta take that rocker panel out and replace it just like I did over here on the driver's side. So that's my goal today. Stay tuned, see how it goes. Back working on Fiona. You can see the driver's side is done. I did throw the seat in the dash, but the driver's side's done, got primed up, got it all tack welded. I was gonna clean up that welds, but I'm like, it's at the floor. I'm gonna put it's kind of hard to see, but right there, that's the old Explorer carpeting. I might put that back in here, trim it down to fit. So I really don't care about what the welds look underneath, as long as they're sealed, watertight. I did get seam sealer for sealing it up anyways. So yeah, so driver's side is all finished. It's all sealed up. I mean, it's booger welded, but it's not bad compared to what I was doing with the old welder. So that's the driver's side. The one big problem I had is I realized this rocker panel, or I'm sorry, this cowl here kind of snuck in on me. So when it did that, I get this. I get like a little gap here on the door. So that's what happened, is the rocker panel sucked in on the bottom, so it popped the door out on the top just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna fix that and make sure I don't do that on the passenger side. So on the passenger side, I cut the door loose. It's moving, everything's good. Cut the old rocker panel out, didn't like it. Obviously needed to match with the floor pan, so built a new one. Gonna have to do the trimming on the top edge to match this edge on the Explorer floor pan, and then fill in that big hole right there and go from there. So, and I did throw in the Explorer dash and the seat because I just wanted to see what my seating position looked like when I sat in here. Actually, it sits pretty good. I thought I was gonna be sitting too low, but I'm sitting pretty good. I kind of might want to go with the F1 steel dash and keep the steel dash, the glove box, and maybe the ashtray. But see if I can form that section. There's like a little plastic bezel that sits inside there. If I can form that out of steel, it'd be awesome, or I get somebody I know that can, you know, good with steel. And then where the gauge pod is and the steering wheel cut out for the steering column. See if I can find somebody that's good at steel that can form that to match with the lip that when I cut the dash out of the F1. That'd be awesome. But I put the duct in there, and that was that composite fiberglass, whatever, air duct. Put that in there, and then I put in where the heater core is. That's in there, and then this section I remember I cut off. That's where the fresh air inlet and the recirculating air inlet was. So I'm gonna try to figure out how I'm gonna work that. But we'll see. But yeah, I kind of want to keep that and that, because I want to try to keep the Explorer center console too as well, because this one again came fully loaded and had a CD changer. Ooh, I know, CD changer in the center console. I know it's kind of old school, everything's going to MP3s and digital and Bluetooth and whatever, but I want to try to keep as much of the Explorer as I could, because on the steering wheel I had the controls for the radio, which was kind of cool. I wanted to keep that control and go from there. So anyhow, today's goal is to get this new rocker panel slash floor pan patch panel fit and welded in, and hopefully get to this little hole down there in the rest of that corner of the firewall, floor pan, whatever it is. Get that all patched in. We'll see how far I go. You know, stay tuned. All right, as you can see, I got a lot of this welded in, but unfortunately I had to stop before I was done because I ran out of welding gas. Started getting a lot of spatter at the back here, but yeah, I have to run to the welding shop and get a tank. So for now, got majority of it welded in. A few spots up here, I definitely gotta get some gap fillers in there. I know a lot of people use like coat hangers or a welding rod and fill in those gaps, because that's a pretty big gap. So I don't know, we'll figure something out. And then I still need to make those patch panels for right there on the corner of the firewall slash floor pan, where it comes together. There's kind of a little seam there. Make those two patches and whatnot. But so right now, no more welding. I might start playing with the dash a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, let's call it a night. Hope you guys enjoy the videos, and we will see you guys soon. So here we are, finally done with the passenger side floor pan, rocker panel, filler panel, replacement panel, whatever. And then the ones that goes from the floor up into the firewall, I got those patch panels in. All that's done, tack welded in. So now the last thing I need to do is go with my little trouble light here, go under the floor, light it up, and see if there's any light I can see coming through, like any little pinholes that I might have missed when welding. Tack weld those in, and then clean them off a little bit and leave it as it is, because this, again, this is the floor pan. I'm gonna put the Explorer carpeting in here, so I'm not too worried about how the welds look, just as long as there's no big bumps or anything sticking up that would be, you could feel it through the carpeting. So that is done. Driver's side over there is done. I just primed over that. So that's what I'm gonna do over here, is I'm gonna get those last tack welds, fill in any little pinholes, clean it off, wire wheel it, get all like the corrosion or anything else off it, primer it. And then after that's done, I'm gonna go through and seam seal all these welds, seam seal everything. And while I was finishing up these patch panels, I also started working on these mounts. If you remember, these are the mounts for the AC duct. So there's this one that holds it up on the passenger side, and over here on the driver's side, there's this one has two bolts that go in there. That also, as you see, holds the brake pedal. So I wanted to make sure that was secured as much as I could to the firewall and like that tube steel support. You can see there's 2 straps I have there welded to it. I just did some plug welds, and I'm gonna try to seam weld it a little bit to get those straps like very, very well supported to that steel support frame, I guess. I don't know. I just want that to be very well supported, because obviously that's where the brake is. There's a lot of pressure on the brake and with the steering column, because the steering column is not light. It's gonna be putting a little bit of weight on there. So I don't want that to pop off or that to break off anytime soon. That's definitely something I want to make sure is welded securely. So not sure if I want to put like another plate, like a cap plate on the end of that to cap it off, to give it a little bit more support, a little bit more rigidity. So I'm not sure. We'll figure out how I'm doing that later on. But for now, I'm gonna call it a night. I consider it done with the floor, firewall, rocker panels. That's all done. So next, moving on, is to get finished up where that AC duct can mount to and the steering column can mount to. Throw that in, throw the steering column in, see how it fits with my seat. And yeah, after all that, I'm in the seam sealing and all that, I might get to putting that extended cab right here. The other cab's sitting down in my other garage waiting to get cut in half to put over here. We'll see how that goes. And I do have, it's hard to see, but over here, right here and here are the doors from the 51 cab. So I'm gonna use those doors versus these doors, because I think those come with a 5-star cab. These ones don't. I don't know, they're good, but these are just like spare doors I use for mocking up this cab. So we'll put those doors back on. And yeah, we'll see how things go. But guys, thanks again for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support. And yeah, hopefully next week you'll see a whole half a cab back here. So have a good one, guys. We'll catch you guys later.